private equity in the comments section. Are you guys fans of private equity? The invasion of the proliferation of private equity coming in and impacting college athletics. Because again, this is not just a football story. I think we are seeing this across the board in athletic departments across the country, and there's no better example of it than BYU. I think the renaissance that we are seeing in BYU athletics is all about private equity from guys like Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, who's a billionaire, but he still needed a billionaire handout for the hockey team that they didn't research the patent on to call it the Yeti, and now it's going to be the Idiots. But anyway, the point is private equity, private donor money is powering BYU athletics. So we're seeing it already. Are you in favor of major capital investment firms and funds taking ownership in college athletics? While you get in the comments section and hit the like button on that, let's talk about this story that the Big 12, according to Ross Dellinger at Yahoo Sports, is closing in on a deal to infuse $1 billion into the conference in what most people are describing as closing the gap for the Big 12 between the major players like the Big 10 and the SEC to try and level the playing field. One thing that I feel very confident about is this does not level the playing field with the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the SEC. I don't know that money on its own can do that. You still have to believe that the people getting the money will do what's required to win. And as we've talked long and often about on this show, I just don't know that the Big 12 is all in to win it. But having said that, I think the singular purpose of this is the ability to compete in the NIL and athlete space. That has got to be the single biggest win here, because there is no question when we get down to who's the best college football team in the country, and this year by far not close, it was Ohio State at the end of the day. They had a lot of talent on that roster, whether it was Will Howard, Caleb Downs, you pick the dude. They came out, they performed in Chip Kelly's offense, and they had one of the best paid staffs in the entire world of college football. I think that's what this does for the Big 12. I don't think this puts them on, some kind of financial level playing field. What it does is it allows them to inject $1 billion worth of human talent, probably less than that on percentage, but a lot more human talent into the game of football and basketball. And Jake, I think that's exactly what this conference needs.
Yeah, I think the Big 12, needs the ability to start winning more ball games. And I think the way you do that is you go out and you get better talent. And yes, I would agree that this is not just a football conversation, but obviously when it comes to an athletic department, football is the sport that pays a lot of bills. And I think if you're, the Big 12, like obviously you have some good things going on in the conference, but it certainly helps to have a cash infusion that allows you to go out and get more talent and push the cause forward. And so I would agree that this doesn't just simply level the playing field. A lot of people are rolling that take out, as he just said. And in what most people are trying to kind of, the picture they're trying to paint is that, hey, you're going to get all this money, so now you're automatically going to be able to be competitive with the SEC and the Big 10. And I just don't know that that's the case. What I do think, though, is that the Big 12, if they can use this money and leverage this money to go out and get talent and get better and be more competitive, and, somehow that translates into, let's say in the next year or two, you get 3 teams in the college football playoff. Like you make a splash in football. And then, obviously you let's say you go out and, you have a really strong showing in the tournament, and you can have double-digit teams in the tournament. And so you're just sort of, building the athletic department. That's what this kind of says to me. It's not just football. It's not just basketball. You're trying to bolster kind of everything to push yourself forward, to get more shares, and to hopefully when, either the Super League comes around and that kind of, forms, or, we talk about, other opportunities in the college football playoff to hopefully have more say in the room. Because ultimately that's what you want if you're the Big 12. You want to have more power when you're having these conversations with, the big wigs in college football.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And here's Ross's tweet. Big 12 presidents, ADs reviewed bids from the 3 finalists in the league's pursuit of capital partners Firms are proposing to infuse millions to schools. Redbird Capital has emerged as a leader, a decision expected in the coming weeks. I can only tell you that when you look at this league, I think this is the exact right move to make, because I think in this world that we are in, kids want money and they're going to chase the money. And I think the lion's share of this is going to go into better event execution, whether that is conference championship games, conference tournaments, whatever that might be. I think you're going to see that. And I think you're going to see more talent. I think you need to be able to pay your coaches and administrators more. You need to stop, like the feeder system that we talked about with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a way for the Big 12 to stop losing talent. And a lot of it is coordinators and coaches. And I think you need to be able to buy more time with coaches. We're seeing a lot of head coaches go be coordinators in the NFL or position coaches in the NFL. You've got to find a way to stop that bleeding. And I think that happens through money. And I don't think you can go wrong adding money to your portfolio. Now, what those percentages look like, are you trading 10% of your ownership? Are you giving, because it's not like this comes for free.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting $1 billion from an investment firm and they just hope you do well with it. You're going to have more oversight. You're going to have more people to answer to. You are selling part of your soul to Wall Street. That is what you are doing. And I understand that Redbird already owns percentages of sports teams across the world. That's all well and good. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We've never seen this work because we've never seen this in college sports.
Yeah, and I also think that the risk of, let's say that this happens and everything's awesome and the Big 12 crushes and it all works out great. If the Big 12 ever wanted to buy them back out, so like, hey, we want to take over full ownership again for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I also think that that's something that decision makers need to be wary of. Like, you need to understand that if you're going to sell, like you said, like whether it's even 10% or whatever, if it's $1 billion valuation that's coming in, that they're paying you that kind of money, you better understand that if you ever want to get out from under that, you got to pay $1 billion plus what you agreed to with them.
Well, there's no getting out from under it. There just isn't. I mean, I think once they're in, they're in. And again, I would point out to you, Redbird Capital is made up of a bunch of sharks.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that you are talking about, Jerry Cardinale, you look at a guy like a Robert Klein, who's the president of Redbird Capital, you start to understand that these are guys that worked at JP Morgan. You look at Robert Klein, he was the most recently global head of Alternative Investment Group, a hedge fund, private equity, credit, and real estate platform of over $80 billion.
Yeah.
Those guys don't get into business to lose money with $80 billion.
I mean, I can't even imagine the what it must feel like to be managing that size of a portfolio, man. Like, that is crazy.
You look at Jerry Cardinale. He spent 20 years at Goldman Sachs, where he was a partner of the firm and a senior leader of Merchant Bank's private equity investing business. During his tenure, Jerry worked with entrepreneurs and family business owners to build several successful multi-billion-dollar companies, including the Yes Network, Legends Hospitality, and Suddenlink Communications. You're talking about titans of industry. You're not talking about guys who don't know what they're doing. You're talking about guys who are getting into this to make significant money. And I think, John Thornton, who is the chairman of Redbird Capital, another Goldman Sachs guy, co-CEO of Goldman Sachs International. Like, you're talking about guys that have generational influence over the way that business is done. And when I say that, I mean for like decades, their money, centuries, their money is influencing business across the international scale. Like I'm telling you, these are dudes that they're not just dipping their toe in the water. They're coming for a piece of something.
Yeah, and the good news is they feel the Big 12 is valuable. They feel like, hey, if we invest in a minority ownership stake in the Big 12, that's going to do great things for us. And so that's the good news. And the obvious question that inevitably is going to come up down the road is, okay, hey, we paid this for the Big 12. What's it going to look like in the SEC? That conversation, I'm telling you, is going to happen in the not so distant future.
I don't even know that it's that. What I think is going to happen here, floodgates are going to open.
Yeah.
Because to your point, well, if the Big 12 is doing it, why are we not doing it? But what happens at that point? Well, everybody's going to get together because it's why we have RICO statutes in this country.
Right.
How RICO, the word RICO has come up on this show like 5 straight weeks. It's why you put money into one big pot.
Yes.
And you all commit crimes together, right? So that's called a super league.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going. There's too much money to be made not to have a super league in some form or fashion. And I think a lot of people don't like the super league idea. I don't know how you avoid it at this point. When you look at what the Big 12 is doing with private equity, and if Redbird Capital, in fact, is that one, they've got television money there. They've got sports money there. They've got liquor money there. Every category you need. Because you're not only, and I hope people understand this, it's not that you are taking $1 billion. You're buying their relationships. That's what you're getting. Redbird Capital is investing in the Big 12 to open up more channels and more relationships. The Big 12 is taking Redbird Capital's investment if and when that happens. And I think it's a matter of when, not if. They're taking that $1 billion injection of cash to open up relationships that Redbird Capital so clearly has. They want that TV money. They want that reach. They want the ability to go to whoever and say, buy this event, pay more money for this event, pay more money so that we can have better reach talent-wise. Because you're getting billions of dollars, which is going to help you, but that billions of dollars has to make you billions more. And I think that's really what you're buying here. You're buying influence, friends, and relationships that will lead you to more money. This is not simply, you give me $1 billion, I'm going to pay Jimmy, the best quarterback in the country, to come and play in the Big 12. That's not what this is. That's a very small part of it. I think this truly is about building reach and influence. In my opinion, that's the biggest win, because that's what the Big 12 doesn't have. When we compare it to the Big 10 and the SEC, they don't have influence.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a seat. They really don't have a seat at the table. They're sitting next to mom in a high chair.
Yeah, they're sitting at the kids' table. Dude.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
I think when you look across this league, and I'm not trying to go down the negative rabbit hole, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution in the Big 12?
Well, look, I think if you get this deal done, I mean, you're definitely part of the solution. And I would also point out, for all the people who criticize Brett Yormark and, don't like Brett Yormark as a commissioner and say that he hasn't done a good job, I would also like to point out that this guy just ushered in or ushered the conference through expansion and college football realignment, and now is in 10 minutes later by college football time is working on $1 billion cash influx into the conference. I mean, I don't know what more you need to see to understand that Brett Yormark, number one, has the history and the pedigree to be an elite commissioner, but also that he is actually doing things. I mean, I these deals don't just kind of fall together. They don't just you don't just roll up to Starbucks and have a cup of coffee and all of a sudden you're signing paperwork. Like, This has been a long time in the making, and I guarantee you he's been having conversations with them. My opinion is speculating. I'm sure that Brett knows somebody at Redbird Capital from back in his entertainment NBA
Oh, it's
days.
Jerry Cardinale. There's
Like,
no question about that. I mean, he is a power player in sports and entertainment. There is no question. That's why Brett Yormark is such a good commissioner, because he came in with relationships. He
yeah.
came in. I think the language, the dialect in sports has changed significantly over the last 5 years. And I think guys like Greg Sankey, who doesn't speak that language, he's got a bunch of dudes around him that do, including the commissioner of the Big Ten, who came from television and entertainment. Tony Petitti came from television and entertainment. And you look at where guys like Brett Yormark came from entertainment. They all run in this small circle, and they speak a very different language.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Brett Yormark is such an asset, to be able to bring the TV deal in the Big 12. Getting the market, beating the Pac-12 to market, absolutely was a decisive, history-changing move for the Big 12. It allowed the Big 12 to survive and thrive. And I think that's where Brett Yormark is best. He has the ability to open up communication and opportunities for a bunch of presidents in this league who, frankly, are not operators. They're not. The people that run these universities in the Big 12 are notoriously bad decision makers. They have been for 35, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, and look at the logic in like, perfect example in recent time is the Oklahoma State situation, right? You thought it was going to be good enough to cut Gundy's salary by that much, 1.5, 1.7 million, and you did that under the guise of using that money to do NIL at a higher level. The problem is that, anybody who knows anything about college football knows that that's not really enough money to really do anything in NIL anymore, that you need more. And so I look at the Big 12 and yeah, I think if they didn't have Brett Yormark, I would be concerned about where the conference is going, just because of the leadership at the school level.
Yeah.
I think half the conference has really forward-thinking leadership. You look at Arizona State, Colorado, BYU. Like, there are schools here that are pushing forward, but then there's definitely a group of schools that I would say, like 4 or 5 of them, that just are not. And hopefully this opens their eyes.
Yeah, but by the way, everybody wants to know if you're going to make it through the show here.
Yeah, I'm tired. We do stuff on the weekends. I'll be fine.
Conundrum. Jake's yawning. Or no, Force Ghost Fabio, excuse me. No, I don't read his comments. Jake's yawning at private equity discussion. Are you bored, Jake?
Nope, not bored. Just
Damn
tired.
it. All right, let's get into the comment section, presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. Join the community, tens of millions of users. And you go and look at the other daily fantasy providers. How many of them have the promo deal that Prize Picks is offering you? That every day, how many daily fantasy apps can you have the old Marty program telling you, here's how you win? Well, the first thing you do is download Prize Picks. Use the promo code Monty to open up a new Prize Picks account. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more instantly. Then, last night, Luka Doncic, all I can say is that if you are not listening to what I am telling you to do with Luka.
And that's not an Ozempic reference. That's a Prize Picks reference, just so we're all on the same page.
Why do you hate fat people?
My name is Luca.
I'd really like to understand, what is it that fat people did to you that's hurtful, Jake?
Well, he dropped the Hollywood 20, so
He dropped a hot deuce.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic last night had a 38.5 point number. 29, 9, and 6. We making money. Now, I also have been telling you that the Phoenix Suns remain a hot mess. One of the worst teams in the NBA. They will not make the playoffs. But Devin Booker continues to disappoint and underwhelm. And
Got to stay away from your guy right now, man.
34.5 point number last night. Yes, he's going under, so I took the under. 26 points, rebounds, and assists last night. Win. They should trade Devin Booker. The reports are they will not. They should trade Devin Booker. And when you reach a certain level in your adulthood and your moral compass snaps in half and falls out your butthole, you understand why you're prize picking spring training baseball. And you begin to understand that the Cubs are terrible.
Terrible.
The Cubs are absolutely terrible. But the good news is that they're getting ready to play a series in Japan. And Ian Happ is going to strike out. And so you take him for half a strikeout, more or less. You took more, so you went 3 for 3.
Butthole.
It's what we do.
It's pretty straightforward, bro.
We play daily fantasy
We
on
just do
spring
things.
training baseball. Well, you know that WNBA preseason game's coming up soon.
Well,
Thankfully. I was spring training baseball or Ricky Fowler.
dude, Ricky actually played well.
It was 6 birdies or better. And I would have taken more, and he had 3. So thankfully, Ian Happ can't hit the broadside of a barn. And I would also like to thank the people who bought my Japan series tickets.
Doing well, dude. Doing well.
We did pretty well on our Cubs tickets in Japan. I'd also like to point out that I cannot wait. It is official. We are going to Wrigley Field with PXG.
Yeah, bro.
In early April.
Yes.
We're going to take a week off the show the first week in April. Cubs opening day, one weekend. We're going to 4 straight Cubs games. Well, I am. Certain people will probably be asleep because they yawn a lot.
Right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Cubs home opener. Monday night, the first Cubs home game. Then we're going to stay the rest of the week, and we're going to play golf at Wrigley Field. And it's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. That's why you need to download the Prize Picks app. I'm not really sure one has to do with the other, but it's a home run when you download the Prize.
See what you did? That's
It's a
like
home
baseball
run.
and Wrigley and Prize Picks, and it all works together.
Open up a new Prize Picks account using the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more. Let's see. Who are the first hyenas in this? Eric Wasikowski. Eric Wasikowski for 14 months.
Wow.
Screw Dan Campbell. Soy boys gushing because Cena turned heel. Okay. Can we talk about this, John?
And his
Cena?
name is John Cena.
I don't understand this. You guys know wrestling's fake, right?
Wrestling.
You understand that wrestling's fake, right?
Right. Right.
You know this is scripted. I saw all these videos on TikToks of kids crying because their POS parents videotape them watching John Cena turn into a jerk off.
I love that show.
And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe, oh God, Johnny, no, John Cena. Oh, Johnny. Oh, Johnny. It's fake. It's a script. It's Hollywood entertainment.
Well, Monty, everything's scripted now. Haven't you watched the NFL? I mean, come on.
John Cena's not a bad guy. It's a script. And everybody, oh, John Cena went heel.
Venom and vitriol.
So did Hulk Hogan, but that was in real life. This is a script. When you're...
Vexes me.
I'm terribly vexed.
Terribly
Slacker.
vexed.
Any thoughts regarding the merger of the Big East and the ACC basketball suggested by Val Ackerman, Coach K, and others? First of all, 17 months in the hole.
Yeah.
17 months in the hole. I don't know why the ACC would do that for basketball. Oh, that's right, UConn. I think that we can all suggest these pie in the sky things. I think people are quickly realizing, And Val Ackerman did, I don't know that Coach K suggested it as much as he co-signed it. I think people are starting to realize that you have to drive money through college basketball.
Yes.
I'll continue to beat that drum. And I know people hate when I say it, and you're tired of hearing me talk about it. College basketball has to make you money. You have to put multiple teams in the tournament if you're a G5. If you are a P4, you've got to have half your league make the tournament.
Yeah.
And when we talk about winners and losers in college sports right now, the SEC is dominating.
Yeah, I think they had, memory serves, 13 teams in the tournament last year, I believe it was.
You can't possibly believe.
Or maybe that was shares they won.
And this private money thing's very interesting.
Yeah.
Why is BYU? Do you guys understand that BYU, according to Greg Wrubell, who's one of the best broadcasters in the country, he is the play-by-play voice of BYU basketball and football and soccer and everything else.
Does a great job.
He does. He's an even better dude. He put out a stat last night that they average 17,000 fans a game for basketball at the Marriott Center.
Monty, it's Marriott, not Marriott.
Do you think this stuff is accidental? They're making money. They're winning games. Their donations and their donors are, it's why DeBance is coming to BYU.
Yeah.
They're one of the most prolific athletic departments in this league, if not the most. And do you guys think like Texas Tech? Where am I all my guys in Lubbock?
Tortilla land.
Do you guys understand the powerful offseason, the transformative offseason that football program in Lubbock has had?
And I'd like to point out, while we're doing I Told You So Monday, we were way ahead on, hey, Texas Tech had a huge offseason, and now everybody and their mom is talking about it. So just want to point that out.
I think it makes sense that you would have the titans of industry talking about making money together. Will it happen lock, stock, and barrel? I have no idea. Probably not. But would you be surprised if they did? I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I would not. Mike Smith, backwoods pimping, got to make that cheddar. Mike's been a member for 19 years.
Nice job, Mike Smith.
Mountain Mama. Every time I hear that song, you're in my head, Mike. And I hear it a lot lately. Jake, just the other day, we're watching TV and he like points at the TV because the song's playing.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. Maury Alvarez, our great Floridian. I really wonder if it is a private equity or a private capital. I don't know that it matters. I think the terms are interchangeable. Here's what I know. Billion-dollar hedge funds are investing in college football and college athletics. Call it what you want. I think when you look at what Redbird Capital Partners is, it is a league that says, quote, or it is a firm that says, quote, we create upside opportunities for global franchises and intellectual properties, identifying new markets and business initiatives to accelerate growth. And I am not surprised by that at all. They have a paragraph on their website that talks about company building approach. We only invest in situations where we see a clear and differentiated opportunity for us to drive value creation through hands-on business building.
So
they're not just going to scratch you a check, or in this case, wire you billions, and be like, okay, cool. See you guys later. Let us know when you made a profit.
See, and again, I just want to keep pointing out, this is Brett Yormark's way of thinking.
Yes.
Like this
has been.
Yeah. Like this type of material that we're reading to you off Redbird's website here is exactly how Brett Yormark thinks and looks at business. He doesn't say to himself, oh, well, we're, an athletic conference and we play football and, we need some more money to invest in the field. No, that's not what he's thinking. What he's thinking is, hey, we have intellectual properties here that have a lot of opportunity that is being unrealized at this point. And we need someone to come in with a lot of money, infuse the conference with cash, and also, I would guess, partner with us to grow the brand, because it would be really nice and it would be, frankly, game-changing for the conference to, go into the Super League era when that does, happen, feeling a lot more confident and not being so much of a second fiddle to the big boys.
What do you guys see? Does anything stand out on this page from Redbird Capital? We talk about scalable platforms. Anything stand out on this page? That'd be the NFL Shield. We target opportunities that combine organic growth, consolidation potential, which means you bring a bunch of stuff together, and synergy realization.
And synergy realization sounds badass, dude.
And it does. Them some Hollywood writers.
Damn.
And they use the NFL Shield. Guys, like, this isn't some small accidental, maybe we could figure something out thing.
Yeah.
I think they know exactly what they're doing. Guys like this don't act without a plan.
Yeah. It's a targeted approach, no question.
They don't. Mike Smith says, damn it. Okay. Sergeant Moore, Hugh, it's real to me. I'm sure it is. David Persons, but did Greg Darth Sankey approve spring training? I don't believe he did.